the human world as they knew it and separated them from it irrevocably.
דבר נשיא המדינה, מר יצחק הרצוג.
President of the State of Israel, Mr. Yitzhak Herzog.
המשמר יעבור לנוח, עמוד נוח.
יש רגעים
There are moments in which one black and white photo tells the whole story,
מהדהדת את המילים.
reverberates all of the words. I am standing here before you as I carry with me, etched in my heart, such a photo.
תמונה נדירה,
A rare picture that anyone who has seen it will never be able to forget.
עיניים רואות,
The eyes
המוח קולט,
see it, the brain perceives it, but the soul does not want to believe it, that the black and white
חור.
is actually darker than black.
לא תמונה של המספרים.
It is not a picture of the big numbers, the thousands, the tens of thousands, the millions. It is a photo of one family, a Jewish family, a family executed by the Nazi satanic henchmen and their collaborators.
אם וילדיה,
A mother and her son at the edge of the pit.
קנה הרובים
The
נוגעים
barrels of the rifles touching her back.
פניה של
You
האיש,
cannot see the face of the woman
פני ילדיה.
nor the faces of her children. A moment before her body collapses into the pit of death, she bends down towards her young children. And in one moment,
מעלים
all the rifles emit smoke. They shoot her together. They do not suffice with one bullet. They are coordinated, efficient.
ילד אחד נשמט
One child falls beneath her.
כוחותיה,
With whatever power she has left in her, the mother holds the hand of her young son, who is sitting barefoot on his knees on the blood-drenched land. What did the mother whisper to her little son? Did she tell him not to cry?
ילד, האם
And the boy, did he cry? Did he keep quiet? Did he understand? Was he afraid?
התמונה
The
שותקת,
picture is silent,
קולה זועק.
but its voice cries out, shocking, mesmerizing.
לא תרצח,
Thou shalt not kill.
לא, אל תשלח.
Lay not thine hand upon the lad. You may take the young, but be sure to let the mother go. Do not slaughter a cow or a sheep and its young on the same day. The photo was taken on October 13, 1941.
ראיתי אותה
When I saw it
בספרה של ההיסטוריונית,
in Wendy Lauer's book,
ספר שעשה
a book that was all about this picture, focusing only on it, I felt my entire being overcome with sadness, rage, and pain.
הזוועות האלה
These atrocities occurred in so many towns and villages, more than we can count, and in all of them, the sun shined over the valley,
הורים צייצו,
birds chirped,
יער שקט,
the forest was quiet,
חטא,
and the slayer slew and slew and slew.
מכובדיי,
Distinguished audience, Holocaust survivors, the heroes of the resurrection, family members of different generations, Prime Minister Naftali Bennett and his wife, Speaker of the Knesset, Member of Knesset Miki Levy and his wife, Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, Justice Esther Chayut and her husband, Chair of the Opposition, Benjamin Netanyahu, Chair of Yad VaShem Council, Rav Israel Meir Lau Shlita, the Chair of Yad VaShem, Dani Dayan, the President of the Bundestag, Mrs. Barbel Bas, ministers, Knesset members, chief rabbis, heads of the security establishment, chairwoman of the Center of Organizations for Holocaust Survivors, Ms. Colette Avital, ambassador, guest representatives from all over the world and from Israel, citizens of the State of Israel. Throughout the Jewish European Holocaust, girls, women, the elderly and men were led to the pits of death and slaughtered. Like the mother and her young son, they didn't leave behind them a name or anything to be remembered by. Like wheat sheaf falling behind the harvester, the Jews fell into the pit, and there was no one to collect them. The massive killing of the Jewish people, humanity's darkest hour, started like this, in what was later called the Holocaust in bullets. Afterwards, the Nazi beast that could not be satiated accelerated the extermination processes until it reached a monstrous scale. Millions of our people were tortured, murdered, massacred by the most horrific machine of evil known to mankind.
אחיותיי ואחיי.
Brothers and sisters,
3 שנים אחרי
3 years after the gates of camps opened up, Holocaust survivors became the heroes of the resurrection, a miracle, role models, and a symbol. The state of the Jews was established like a beacon expressing the triumph of light over darkness, promising that a Jewish child will never have to hide in a dark and isolated cellar from those who seek to kill him. Parents will never be torn from their children and set on their last journey only because they were Jews.
ולעולם
And never, ever
לא יעמדו
will despicable murderers stand behind a Jewish family, shoot them, and throw them into the valley of the shadow of death.
התגובה היהודית
The Jewish response to history is to remember not just the scientific and sterile memory, not just archival documentation, but first and foremost, as the basis, a profound and existential memory that awards the
כזה
history meaning, one that is reflected in everything we do, helps us grow, builds us as a nation, makes us better
ראויים יותר.
and more worthy.
אהובינו,
Beloved
ושורדי השואה,
Holocaust survivors, your memory is our memory,
ומשימת
and the task of imparting it is a task we all share. It is our duty to teach the lessons of the Holocaust and pass them on from generation to generation. We have no hope,
ואין לנו
and we have no justification as a nation and as a state if we do not remember forever what has happened to our people in the ghettos, in the cellars of the Gestapo, in the killing pits, in the death trains, in the extermination camps, in the crematoriums, and in all the places
לבד צלם
where there was no expression of humanity and where there was no trace of compassion. But along with that, we must prove, first and foremost to ourselves,
שלא רק
that it is not only history that unites us as a people,
משותף
it is our common future that serves as a solid basis for deepening our connections, no less than our past. We must continue and build our nation so that it will thrive, grow,
ותוכל
and rise to any and every challenge. We must act in a cohesive and determined fashion as we face the terrorism and hatred led by organizations and countries against us and fortify Israel's power like an iron wall in defense of our enemies.
הטלת ספק בזכות
Doubting Israel's right to exist is not
דיפלומטיה.
legitimate diplomacy, but outright anti-Semitism that must be uprooted.
עלינו להמשיך
We must continue and fight the ugly manifestations of anti-Semitism that is rearing its head in so many places all over the world, as well as in social media. We must make it clear that even today, 8 decades from the darkest abyss in human history, anti-Semitism that threatens our people
פשע.
is a crime against humanity.
יקירינו,
Beloved
והיינו שורדות
Holocaust survivors,
אמנם שורותיכם
even if less and less of you are active and alive today, our commitment to you is ever stronger and must be seen and heard from one end of the world to the next. You are the pillar of fire before the camp. You are an inspiration for us all. You make us believe that our path is the right one and encourage us to proceed forward.
אזרחיות ואזרחים.
Citizens of Israel,
פתחתי את דבריי הערב בתמונה
I opened my remarks this evening with a picture, and I am ending it with one as well, a photo that also reverberates all of the words. On my desk, in the office of the President of the State of Israel, there is merely one and only photo that touches anyone who sees it to the core of their being. Anyone who has ever seen this picture can never forget it. At the center of the photo, you see Dora Dreiblet Eisenberg of blessed memory, born in Lodz, prisoner number 55374 from Birkenau, Auschwitz, and with her
הקטנה
great-granddaughter, Daniela Hartzvi. Here as well, You cannot see the woman's face, nor can you see the face of the great-granddaughter. The great-granddaughter's hand is resting on her great-grandmother's hand. Their hands are placed on the Israeli flag. This picture taken by Karen Gillerman tells the entire story in the clearest of ways. The story of the Jewish people and its revival, the story of this country and how it was settled, the story of the chain of generations, and the story of the state of Israel, which is the most profound, our beloved country, which is the most profound expression of Ezekiel the prophet's vision of the dry bones. Thus saith the Lord God, behold, O my people, I will open your graves and cause you to come out of your graves and bring you into the land of Israel, and shall put my spirit in you, and ye shall live, and I shall place you in your own land. O land, do not cover their blood. May the memory of our brothers and sisters, the victims of the Holocaust, be etched in the heart of the nation from generation to generation and until all eternity.
משמר יעבור לדום. משמר